Hey there, friends. Welcome to episode number 130 of It'll Be Fine, the socially distant baking food chat show. I'm your friend and your pal, Kelly Zemnickis. There's a big black cloud coming over Toronto right now, so I'm going to head inside. But you know what? These clouds aren't going to rain on my baking parade today. No, they are not. Because today, if my dress here gives it away, we are taking the lemons that has been the pandemic, and we are going to be making a delightful, a vegan, gluten-free lemon loaf alongside the fabulous, the very cool, the awesome Melanie Dahling. Oh my gosh, Melanie is the coolest cat. I'm so glad she is coming into the kitchen today to bake alongside me. So our vegan and our gluten-free friends, come on into the kitchen. We're gonna get in before this rain starts. It's gonna be fun.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Here's what you're going to need for today's bake. All right, for today's episode, we are using a recipe from the Minimalist Baker. We are doing this lovely lemon loaf, which is vegan and gluten-free. So I'm going with a Robin Hood all-purpose flour blend. It is gluten-free, as you can see, and it does include the potato starch that is mentioned in the recipe. So I think we are good to go. This is a rice-based flour. I'm also going to be using some coconut oil. We've got cornstarch, maple syrup. I'm going with Kyle kosher salt for this bake. It does call for sea salt, but I think we'll be all right. We've got some vanilla extract right back there. We've got our baking powder, which happens to be gluten-free. The apples are here because I'm going to be making my own applesauce for this one. It will act as the egg replacer. We have the Puff Daddy of sugars here, just because it has so many names. Icing sugar, which you may also know as powdered sugar or caster sugar or confectioner sugar. And finally, of course, for lemon loaf, we need lemons.
There's a little birdhouse. There's a lot going on here. I like it.
That is actually because the ceiling's too low. It's a Snoopy snow cone machine.
Oh, I used to have one of those when I was a little girl.
I gotta say, I never had one as a kid, but a friend was giving away some stuff, and she was like, "You seem like the perfect person for a Snoopy snow cone machine."
Gosh. Yeah.
So
I think. Am I correct in assuming? I think we're both the type of people that people interpret me as very knick-knacky and like novelty-ish and give me a lot of things. And I do love that, but I live in Toronto. I don't have like a rec room to put all these things. So I often have to reject a lot of the knickknacks that I would otherwise enjoy.
Well, let's get baking. We are going to celebrate episode 130 of It'll Be Fine with a lemon loaf. I'm super excited.
I'm excited too. Yeah, this is gluten-free and vegan recipe. Yeah. And I'm not vegan, but I eat a lot of vegan foods because I'm lactose intolerant. And then I realized recently that I have all kinds of digestion issues. And I'm like, is it wheat? I'm just kind of like exploring right now.
Yeah.
So I thought I would go gluten-free so that I can eat it and not be upset in my tummy after.
So the first step, of course, with any recipe, we're going to start up the oven.
Yes.
350 is what your oven should be at right now. Mine's getting there slowly. And this says we can do this in one bowl.
Yeah.
We need one bowl plus a pan to bake it in.
Yeah, a bowl. And
now, for the loaf pan, I have chosen to just lube this up with some coconut oil. Lube it up is not a proper cooking term. Or if you want, you can just put like a sheet of parchment or some aluminum foil.
Yeah, I might grab some parchment for later. I'll have it on hand.
Yeah, do it.
I do find a lot of my stuff is very old or / some of my cookware I found on the street. People on my street leave things out a lot. So
Yeah.
it's I usually do the parchment paper route because it's not doesn't have the non-stickness to it anymore.
That is fair. And I will say for anyone watching who uses aluminum, that is totally fine, but it might lessen your baking time because your dish will get a little hotter quicker.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
See?
so if you use it, don't bake for the same amount of time, maybe take off like 5 minutes or something.
Okay.
So this is a pretty simple bake. There's not too many crazy things to purchase. Sometimes for vegan gluten-free dishes, you've got to find like certain kind of extracts or this or that. But this is pretty easy. We're going to start off with lemon zest, lemon juice, applesauce, maple syrup, vanilla extract, and avocado or whatever neutral oil you choose. I went with coconut. What did you do?
I already had olive oil, so I was like, I'm just gonna use that. I gotta get my lemons. That's the only thing I didn't take out for this. Wait.
No sweat. All right, I got my lemon zest here. There was a lot of lemon to zest for this, I have to say.
Yeah, I should have pre-zested. Oh my word. I didn't
That's
pre-zest.
okay. What we need for the cake is 3 tablespoons of lemon zest.
Okay.
Do your best. So speaking of lemony, we need 4 tablespoons of lemon juice for this baby. So it'll be fine.
Yeah, I might just like, rather than using my like this lemon juice, I'll just cut these open and squeeze them in there and it'll be really fresh and
Yeah,
tasty.
exactly. All right. Lemon zest, lemon juice, the applesauce.
Okay, how much applesauce?
Half a cup.
Half a cup, okay. I have my little measuring cups from Anthropologie.
Cute.
I don't normally shop there, but they were a gift that I was happy to receive. Yeah.
I have some from them too, and again, it was a gift because I don't want to knock the store, but I don't think I've ever been able to afford anything from Anthropologie.
No, it's alarmingly expensive. Like I love everything. It's the lifestyle I would live with that I could. They really nailed my taste, but I can't. Yeah, I think she got them on sale, and she just, it's nice to have the opportunity to give someone something from Anthropologie. Yeah.
All right, after that, we are going to add in our oil, of which we need a 1/4 cup. And then we're going to go to maple syrup, or if you don't have maple syrup, you could use agave if you wanted, or honey.
I have maple syrup.
I do too. 1/2 cup.
I'm putting it in my coffee, so I like having it around.
Oh, that is so good in the coffee. That and cinnamon, I really like. Alrighty, and then vanilla extract.
Oh, 1/2 cup of maple syrup. That's a lot of maple syrup. Okay.
It is. And then we need 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract.
Okay. I bought this giant thing of vanilla at Bulk Barn because I was shopping online and I was like, oh, that seems kind of expensive for vanilla extract, but whatever, like I don't want to go to 2 different shops.
Yeah.
And then when I got there, it was like a giant, so I'll have it forever now.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I've never seen a thing of vanilla that's large.
Yeah, it's giant. And I was like, oh, it's more expensive, so maybe it's the more like natural kind, but no, it's very fake. That's okay. It's what I grew up on.
It's all good. All right, so we've got that going in. We're whisking it up. The next part will be to add the dry ingredients, and we're halfway there to making a cake. So,
oh my goodness.
simple. Once that is all whisked together, and I'd show this on camera, but it looks really gross. So
Yeah. I mean, it's a little sparkly, so that's nice. The lemon's giving it some nice, I don't know what that is that's giving it sparkle, but it's a little nice. But yeah, it's mostly just brown and sludgy.
Exactly. Yeah. I think the sparkle is just our charm. I think that's
Yeah. Yeah, it's been under the computer this whole time, so that probably is it.
all right. Here, put that in there. Okie dokie. So for our dry, we need 2 cups of almond flour and 3 1/4 cup of potato starch. Or if you are like me and you used a gluten-free flour, it already has the potato starch in it.
Oh.
So I'm just doing 2 cups of gluten-free flour. So that's
I couldn't find almond flour, but I got coconut flour.
perfect. Okay. So once we've added our flour and potato starch, we are then going to do 1/3 cup of cornstarch, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, not baking soda, baking powder.
Yes, I made sure. That's always my #1 anxiety when baking is that I'm going to use the wrong one.
And then they call for sea salt. I do not own sea salt, but I have kosher salt, so I'm doing that.
I have pink Himalayan salt, which I will be using.
That's fine.
Yeah. I do really like to be able to taste a little bit of saltiness in a sweet recipe. That's one of my favorite things.
Me too. I love dark chocolate with a good sea salt in it, like having that little combo. It's so good. All right.
Are we ready to mix?
We are ready to mix. So yeah, it says here to whisk again until there are no lumps.
Okay, yeah. And it's got like a sandy kind of like a cornbread
Correct.
texture.
Yeah. Yeah, there is that note there. It should look similar to cornbread. If you think it is too thick, add some dairy-free milk.
Yeah, and I am out of dairy-free milk at the moment, but if I think it's too thick, I'll add some water and that should be fine.
I think so. All right. So doing this. I don't make cornbread enough to know if I'm doing this right, but
Yeah, I do like to make cornbread, but it's usually, this feels very sandy. I think I'm gonna have to add more.
because mine is very, I don't know if you can see here, it's kind of pale, but it feels very soft and doughy.
Yeah, mine, okay, now that I'm squishing it together, it feels like dough, but
Yeah.
looking at it, it looks like sand. So I'm like, is this, but I guess if I squish it into the pan, it'll become
Yeah.
what it wants to be.
I have no idea. I think it's going to taste good.
Yeah,
I have faith.
it kind of reminds me of that magic sand that you make for kids where like when you squish it, it lumps together. Yeah, but it's crumbly. It's so I'll keep that in mind for a rainy day.
That sounds like a good idea. All right. I don't know. I wouldn't say this is too thick, and I think it's just right.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
I don't know.
I think I might add the tiniest bit more applesauce just to make it a little more moist, but I don't want it to get runny.
Yeah. So this is what I've got here. Like,
Okay, yours is sticking together a lot more than mine.
so I'm thinking maybe I'll do a dash of oat beverage.
Yes.
Maybe.
That's the part where you see that I have no respect for chemistry or science and I just start going AWOL. Like, I'll know when it feels right.
But you know, that like when I think back to like old family recipes, like grandma, you know, even my mom's not a big baker. Mostly I'm thinking like grandma kind of stuff, but they knew by feel when things were right,
Yeah.
you know?
I've always been a more intuitive, like, I want a structure to work within, but I want to play with the rules within that structure.
Yeah.
And my grandma was, Yeah, my grandma used to try and write down like grocery lists for us for her recipes, but it would be like a mouthful of this or a handful of this, and it's like she, yeah. But everything she made was really good.
Is we're going to take our dough, however crumbly or thick or whatever dough makes you happy, guys, and just stick it in this thing. So, all right.
Let's rinse off my doughy hands so I can put parchment paper.
So we're going to wash my hands too.
Oh, Lucy Gervais from the comedy community showed me this really simple little hack that you probably already know about, but maybe your viewers don't, where they were, we were making cookies and they put butter all over the pan and then put a bunch of flour on one end and then just went whack, and the flour went all the way down and like covered the whole thing. And I was like, how'd you do that? And it made this really nice like non-stick surface.
I knew about oiling and then putting a flour on it, but I've never done that where you whack it. That's kind of.
You just put like a little pile and then you're like, kunk, and it goes all over. And it was like one of those moments where I think Lucy didn't know that that was like special. And I was like, what did you just do?
Spread it out as evenly as we can. It kind of looks like gelato.
Yeah, it does. Ooh, that's making me want, my mom, when she would take me for gelato, she was always like, you have to get one side dark chocolate and one side like fruity.
Yes,
and those are the rules.
Yeah.
And then when I went out with my friends in my teen years, I was like, you guys are heathens. Like they were just getting like sweet and sweet. And I was like, no, you need to balance it out. But that makes me think of the lemon flavored. Yeah, you would get like dark chocolate and lemon. Really nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that is my rule too. And I was telling my fella, because he was getting some gelato and I was on the phone with him, and I said, you're getting a fruit, right, with your chocolate? And he's like, yeah, should. I was like, oh, of course.
Yeah, you gotta have a sweet and then a dark, like slightly bitter to balance it out.
Yeah, we gotta do that. All right, so I think I'm good. How about you?
Yeah, I think this looks really nice. It's cute.
They're little babies. All right, so this is going to go into the oven, which is at 350 for about 35 to 40 minutes. But as I always say, every oven in this world is different. This could be done in 30 minutes. This could be done in 45. Just don't set it and go, for a walk to get gelato. Wait till
yeah. Oh, there's Kyle. He's around.
Hi, I'm putting up something in the oven. I'm preheating it for you.
Yeah.
We'll put this in the outtakes. I'll be good.
Yeah, this is an exciting little blooper.
Excellent. It looks like it's already glazed.
Oh, weird. Okay, because mine turned back into sand. It looks very sandy. But I'm wondering if that's that I used coconut flour, because coconuts have that kind of like grittiness to them.
Yep. And I used rice flour. They recommend almond. So as one goes through a gluten-free bake, there's a lot of trial and error to see like what works and what doesn't work. So it smells gorgeous. Like I wish that you could scratch and sniff this. It smells so good.
It smells really nice. And I tried like a tiny corner and I was like, okay, I'm excited to glaze it because it's quite dry, but it has a really nice, the coconut gives it a nice like summery kind of flavor.
I noticed that when I was doing my hand cleaning of the mixer and just like eating the dough, basically, because there's no eggs, so I didn't feel so nervy about chowing down on it. So while this thing cools, and you want to leave it in the pan until we're done making the glaze. Don't touch that. But the glaze, not too much needed for this. We need our friend lemon zest. Yay.
Yeah, so I got creative during the break and I put a lemon in a blender with a little bit of water and made like a zesty mixture. So
I like it.
Yeah, so that'll work.
The next thing that goes in along with our zest, we are going to need 3 tablespoons of lemon juice.
Yield.
Yeah, doing this. And again, we're using that bowl we used before, or you can use another bowl if you want.
I got a smaller bowl just to make it easier. But yeah.
Yeah, that is fair. I mean,
Oh.
she says this is a one bowl recipe, but if you're doing a proper mise en place and you're setting everything up, I think I had 8.
Oh wow.
Because I have my little ramekins to put things in. You know?
Oh cute.
So,
Yeah, I don't have ramekins. I should get some. I think they're very cute.
Now we need to add vanilla extract. We need a half a teaspoon.
Oh no, I added way too much of my zesty stuff.
Oh, it's okay. I don't think I'm not gonna freak out if there's too much lemon or juice or zest in this, because we want it to be a nice light.
Yeah, I think if anything, I'm gonna make mine extra liquidy to make up for the sandy texture of the coconut. Yeah, but I do like that sandy kind of cornbreadish texture, so I'm not mad at it.
I do enjoy cornbread. A cornmeal muffin is my favorite muffin, and for those who know the Coffee Time franchise, which God bless them, but it is the saddest place on earth.
Yeah.
I'm convinced. But they make a cornmeal muffin. You can't keep me away from that muffin.
Oh.
I will excuse the depressing atmosphere of the Coffee Time.
I've never been to one, but yeah, since I moved, I don't know if we had them in Winnipeg. If we did, no one talked about them in Winnipeg. But since moving to Toronto, Coffee Time is like this real urban legend kind of, like everyone has a story.
Okay, for the powdered sugar, it says a cup and a quarter. Cup and a quarter.
Yeah, I put mine in here and I ignored her advice to sift out the chunks, and now I'm seeing why she told us to do that. I was foolish. I should have listened to her.
Oh, it's so pretty.
Oh, yours is looking very beautiful. Mine's oozing all over the place, but it's kind of going down the sides and under, which I think is exactly the result I wanted because it's quite dry, like I said. So yeah, I think it'll be nice and moist.
Now my thing, I'm dumb. I should not have put this on a flat surface, but that's okay. Damn, this is nice. Oh.
I will say that I'm probably gonna like mine better when I put it in the fridge for a bit and the glaze like has a chance to really like seep in and get a little like hard on the top, but it's nice and
so light. Oh,
I made the perfect tea to go with this. I made a blueberry tea and I love lemon and blueberry.
I have put some oat beverage in my coffee cup here. But this is a perfect summery having tea with friends kind of,
Yeah, if you're having an outdoor gathering, which will hopefully be a thing soon.
I know. I'm across now from some beautiful parks, and this just has picnic vibe written all over it.
Yeah, picnic party.
Yeah, this is so good.
Yeah, mine is like, it's denser. I think I would have probably done a mix of flours and not just the coconut flour, but I do really like it.
Yeah, I've got a good sponginess to mine, which sometimes when you're doing a gluten-free treat, a vegan treat, you get that sandpaper quality to it, but it's just a matter of playing around with the ingredients and figuring out what works best.
Yeah, I actually saw on a baking show, it wasn't Nailed It, it was one where the people were like experts, and one of them was a gluten-free person, and she was like, yeah, it's never like one flour, it's like usually a mix of flours. And I could see this coconut flour being like, it's got that weight to it, and I could see it complementing like a lighter rice flour really nicely.
I love the fact that you do tarot card readings.
Yes.
I gotta ask, when did you start doing this?
Okay. I don't actually remember when I got this deck, this wrap someone made for me, but the deck inside it I've had since my teen years. I don't actually even remember when I got it. But my grandma, the same one with her like intuitive recipes, she used to read tea leaves. So I grew up in like, we were Catholic, but we were like spooky Catholics. Like we were start being like, oh, could you like, it's funny how many people are skeptical until you tell them you do stuff like this. And then they're suddenly like, oh, can you do that for me? So I was like, okay, and it just kind of organically happened throughout my life, and now it's a little thing that I do.
Yeah. Oh, I think it's just the coolest. I think this would kind of be a cool way to cap off episode 130 with a little tarot card reading. And
Yeah.
see what's in store for It'll Be Fine and creativity for me. And
Absolutely. Staying with the cards, when you were talking, I'll get to the little creativity reading, but when you were talking about the fella, I got this card flew out of the deck and it's a very positive omen. So we got the 4 of Wands and it's a very romantic card. These two people are like, yay. And like it's a 4, which is nice because like 4, it's stable, but it's a beginning. Like it's not like, I mean, I don't think you're ready for like an 8 or a 10 right now because you're just at the beginning of this. Like, we're getting to know each other. But this is a very like, all right, we've hit like the first solid level that you can hit in a relationship where it's like, we like each other. Yeah, we got this. Like, you just agree. Creativity. I do see the change you were talking about. So this card looks scary, but it's really not. This is the 10 of Swords. Ooh. And obviously this person's been murdered. But it's kind of, this card has a bit of a gallows sense of humor to it for me because you don't need to use 10 swords to murder somebody. Like that's literally overkill. Like it's like, and I think what that's saying, and it's interesting because right now, there's a lunar eclipse either last night or tonight, and the moon is in Sagittarius. And I'm not the most astrology person, but what I have heard about that from my more astrology-minded friends is that it's like, we are cutting ties with old patterns, old ways of thinking, old expectations, things that we go like, well, that's just how life is. Like we're letting go of that shit. And we're going like, it's like the scary other end of it where it's like, well, I've been believing these awful things about myself for so long, but I don't know what's on the other side of that. So it's kind of like letting go of the devil, you know, and going like, I'm going to head into an exciting new beginning. And I think creatively, it's kind of like, yeah, you might get some opportunities that in the past you'd be like, I don't feel qualified for this, or like, and you just have to like, you're going to have to confront your imposter syndrome. You're going to have to confront like, you know, and like sometimes when I'm confronted with something that I don't immediately know how to do, I just like put it away and never look at it again. and this is the time to be like, okay, I'm going to look up some tutorials. I'm going to navigate this. I'm going to figure it out. I got this.